for me, it's all I've ever really known how to do because, again, I guess this is very, maybe not even just very Pittsburgh, it's just very, I guess, hardcore and punk rock. It's like, that's just what, there's like,
Yeah.
nobody was coming to do anything for you. So it's just like, if you wanted to put out a record, you had to do it. If you wanted to put out a zine, you had to kind of figure it out. Like, and that took other punk rockers or music people or underground stuff to like spread the knowledge. And I think that's just eventually through putting out records or booking shows in other cities in particular, like it all comes from this place of underground grassroots. And um, frankly, that's just all I've ever known. And nowadays it happens to just be, I think, the barriers to entry are so much lower for everything. So
Yes.
it makes a lot of elements harder because the saturation point is just so much more pronounced for everybody. So how you filter through that is a real challenge, and not something to be discounted, to be honest. But oh, sorry, my rice cooker just went off. Sorry if
It's
that
okay.
caused the funny noise. But yeah, it's just always how we've done business. And I've never been averse to good partnerships if they make sense. But there's just never been anything presented to us that made sense. And it really has been more about building out our team with personnel on a DIY basis or a partnership basis to help us either grow in this area or maybe recognize this blind spot here where we're not so good, or so somebody can maybe lend a hand with that. And so I don't know. Yeah, that's just kind of the way it's always been.
It's self-preservation. If one thing is going to ensure that I'm doing this for the long haul for as long as I possibly can, it's me taking care of things myself.
Sure.
Or at least doing that as much as possible.
Yeah, well, because it's like that thing too. Like, um, if you want something done right, do it yourself. I think that's like so true in so many areas, and nobody's ever going to care as much as you will.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to fucking care. I mean, your mom or your baby brother or sister maybe, but like, you know, so it's like,
Consistency, but
yeah,
consistency ends up being longevity.
yeah,
Maybe it doesn't work out perfectly as you planned it, but you're still showing up. That's always going to count more for than anything, I
for
think.
sure,
For
for sure.
I mean, you've watched that happen, you've experienced that as a band. Every band hits those moments where it's easier, where or they're reassessing and they're thinking maybe it's easier to stop than continue on. But what has
I think that
helped?
all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so what has helped Trace Remains like power through that and survive those moments and say, no, we're still here. I still want to be here.
It's funny. Anytime I have like a moment where I'm like, maybe this runs up, maybe this has run its course or whatever. A new song will come up, or there will just be a new idea, or like there will be an opportunity to play a show, or like something like that would be very organic and natural. Like it's and and sometimes it's just a matter of taking a step back and figuring out and really doing an honest assessment of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think once you can hopefully come to a decision point, then you lean in. And for me and for us, it was like we had a record that was sitting out there that was the first thing that we did several years ago, and then it got shelved, and we never released it. And that record got recorded shortly after like COVID. Like things started kind of opening up after the pandemic, and so we recorded that record. And then it kind of sat. We ultimately released two singles from it, and that was like the first things that we offered to the world. And then it was like, then we had another record that we released. It was the Leverage the Tides record in 2024. And I think it was just that project was very specific vision, and just that was exciting. And then once you're committed to the bit, it was like, all right, like it's not easy every day, but part of, I think, discipline and part of the work is continuing to push through the moments where there's a lot of rejection or it's hard or like you're suffering from that imposter syndrome. And it's just, but I know I've learned that that's just part of it. I think probably even some of the biggest artists in the world that you would think have the biggest egos from a public perspective, privately, and whether that's because you're always trying to grow, you're always trying to reach for the next thing, or you just are still that 10-year-old kid in your bedroom trying to lip sync to a song or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it just you gotta like, if you love something enough, you'll naturally find a way to stick to it.